Hmm. Hello, friends, and welcome to this free event that we're calling Black Hole Friday. So I'm using this analogy of the black hole for what we really are, formless awareness. All right. And now there's a black hole that's peering right through your eyes. It is your eyes. All right. It's symbolic for what you are. It's you. It's this. It's now. It's alive. Okay. Now, when we're lost in thought, when we're lost in imagination, when we're lost in beliefs, we seem worlds and worlds and worlds away from the simplicity. But I can tell you with such confidence and joy that what you're looking for is what's already appearing. It is you. You just may have an idea that you're less than, unworthy, lack-based, unhealthy, depressed, and weak. Those are not true. Now, they can be true in the relative sense, not the absolute. Now, you are the alpha and the omega. So you can explore all frequencies and vibrations and beliefs and states of consciousness because you are consciousness and formless simultaneously. So, sure, oneness can play in depression. Oneness can play in anxiety. Oneness can play in self-hatred and woe is me. But it's an experience that doesn't last. What you really are is very powerful. It's naturally confident and it's naturally in a causeless joy. That's why this world can't give it to you. Have you noticed yet? This world will give you fleeting experiences of emotional highs and lows, right? And that's what we tend to, through the body and the nervous system, get addicted to. Oh, I felt gratitude for 5 minutes. Let's get back to that. Oh, I felt bliss for a second. Let's get back to that. Oh, that object made me feel like this. Let's get back to it. So we start to think that things out here are bringing forth these emotions. It's just a gimmick. It's a mirage. It's an optical illusion. It's an experience that doesn't last. Now, what you really are does last. It's eternal and it's immortal. And it does play in that sector of being a person, of feeling separate and broken, only for a short time. Now, obviously, love brought us here today to talk about this. Life itself brought us together to talk about this. It's quite auspicious. It is a mystery of why we are here talking about this. But obviously, there's a ripeness, there's a readiness to hear this, you see? Because this is it. This cannot even appear without being this. It is because you are, period. So your world arises as you arise. It's just when we feel separate, your world is hell. It feels separate. It feels like something you need to put back together again, right? But when you are there as awareness, the seer, presence, doesn't matter what word we use, this comes back into harmony. Because now you know your true power. You know what you really are, not just who you are. I'm not dogging on the form, I'm not dogging on the who. But when you've recognized the timeless aspect, the timeless nature, who, the character, the personality naturally brightens, naturally relaxes, naturally comes into its authentic and organic expression, okay? Because we all have a unique flavor. Oneness is appearing as these unique flavors because it wants to. Now, what seems to maybe be in the way of that is a belief. I need to do more of this first. I need to meditate more. I should get rid of this first. Well, it's amazing because when naturally you reorientate to your natural energetics, which is awareness, all of those things we're trying to work so hard to change naturally start to just soften, naturally just start to fall away because you trump it all. Of course, you trump it all. You trump depression, you trump disease, you trump insecurity, you trump lack and unworthiness because you generated it as an experience. You are the divine neutrality, the baking soda that simmers the whole fire. But it's only you that can do that. And who are you? What are you? More of the question. So it's an energetics. It's just an energetic shift from feeling small and insecure and weak and limited to seeing. And you can only see from where you are. Because where you are is where you are with the capital Y, the Godhead, the absolute totality. But you're not going to find totality by trying to kill your ego, your mind, or your body or form. Why? Because the formless is form already. That's why denial goes, insecurity goes, this trying to stop moving this around goes. The body really is the final frontier on storybook Earth. It's hiding in plain sight, guys. It is your sight. And so today, the only thing that can fall away is beliefs, limiting beliefs. Because stories are still going to appear. Yeah, this is a story. Oneness loves it. It's not going to stop. What stops is the attachment. What stops is the addiction of this only being real. No, it's real and it's unreal, like a dream. It's just now you're lucid in the dream. You see, everything is fleeting, not lasting. The only thing that does last is isness, is beingness, and it cannot be known through the finite mind. Because it's finite. The mind is finite. It cannot know infinity. However, infinity obviously is appearing as the finite world, as language, as all these characters appearing. So today we can dance around with questions, anything you'd like to talk about. But I cannot give you yourself because you already are it. The only thing, again, that will fall away is doubt and insecurity. And those were never yours. They were hand-me-downs. So please feel free to ask questions, be as you are. Nothing's off limits. So I'm all ears if you'd like to talk or not talk. We'll just see how this unfolds, okay? But it's an honor and a great privilege to be here with you guys today to talk about this simplicity. So let's have some fun. Let's play, all right? All right, folks, I'm gonna read a question in the chat, okay? Oh, and for those who have come in later, feel free to raise your hand, okay? If you have a question or use the chat box. All right. I want to know, how can one heal their mind, soul, and feelings, emotions? David Hawkins talks about maps of consciousness, and how does one heal their maps of consciousness if he is somewhere in the level of 20 or below? Wow, that sounds really confusing already. Also, what to do about changing our negative subconscious mind into a positive one, okay? Changing our mental, emotional conditioning into a positive one, or abiding in the awareness, or do the both. Affirmations, law of attraction, surrender. I see, okay. Naturally, so there's no one in the subconscious. The subconscious, there's no one there. It's just an automaton. You're a robot. There's no one there. You only have choice and freedom and will as awareness. So it's only when you've recognized your timeless nature can you actually even reconfigure the body. Can you even reconfigure beliefs? Otherwise, it's just a belief, just operating. Like you're like a robot, like an automaton. There's nothing wrong with that. That's oneness appearing as that. But naturally, obviously, awareness can shift those things. But I gotta say, when you're resting as this, you're so whole. You're naturally abiding in joy, because beingness equals joy, that those things that you're wanting so much with the law of attraction really do fall away. I'm not saying there's not goals. Hell yeah, there's goals. There's also desires, but they're pure desires. They're based on isness, not the fractalized, lack-based belief systems of I need this to feel better. I want that. That's going to make me successful and make me confident. No, it won't. Only the recognition of your timeless nature will give you confidence. And from that natural confidence, desires and goals can appear, but it's just for the joy of it, the fun of it. You know, it's like an adventure and an exploration. So yeah, of course, you're infinity. You can reconfigure beliefs, but it's only as the timeless aspect aware. But again, like I say, though, when you're resting as self, those things that you thought you want, they're not as delicious anymore. but just tapping into, you asked about affirmations, you know, practices and affirmations, prayers, mantras, they can all still go on. It's just for the magic of it, the love of it, the inspiration of it. It's not because I have to, you know, you're the guru now. So it's you decide. You know what I mean? Hey, Molly.
Hello. Hello.
What's up, girl?
I was taking a shower not long ago. My hair's still wet.
Hey, nice.
And there I was standing under the water. And my whole experience of my body was suddenly just different. Because usually it's like a project. It's like work in progress. It's like, how do I deal with these problems and this pain and yada yada. And suddenly it was just like nothing / luminous, you know, and I suddenly was like, I got a whiff of like, yeah, all this stuff is stuff you made up to give yourself a project, you know, and it's and I making it like really hard to drop all these patterns and conditioning and negative beliefs and all this stuff, you know. So and suddenly it appeared like maybe it's just easy and not time bound or something to work at, you know. And then it was suddenly like, then what would I do?
Oh my gosh. Well, Molly, if we aren't bound by lack and insecurity anymore, then it's like you're at a kid in the candy store, a kid in a playground. Like you don't have anything to lose anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And no fixer upper projects, you know, in all the time, just like grinding away. And so, you know, even though I was sort of in, it wasn't that brightly lit, the bathroom, but there was sort of this luminous thing going on. Maybe I had my eyes closed, but I was like, oh, this is just this radiance. And it's sort of no big deal. You know, it wasn't like, it was just, oh, this is just the nature of this being, this radiance. And anyway, so that was kind of cool. I just thought, well, you know, I could get used to this. Of course, right there, I'm making it into a project, you know.
Hey, no, seriously. I mean, it can seem like it takes a minute for the body, to get acclimated in a way. Yeah, that's why it can seem like there's like a little bit of hiccups or back and forth. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that the whole pain thing. And
wait. Are we talking physical pain or emotional pain?
To me, they're just so intertwined, you know.
Oh, okay.
And even the effort to try and figure out what is this trauma that keeps recreating this physical pain.
We don't have to figure out the source of it. You just have to reconfigure to you as source. And once you're there, I mean, the clarity of seeing is immaculate. That's what I mean by it's effortless, because when you're there, it trumps all of these little beliefs and insecurities and stories and timelines. It's just Moses in the Red Sea.
Exactly. This is the good news, because honestly, how much time have I wasted? Not that there's any time, but in like digging and trying to, you know, access this trauma and release the trauma and all this stuff that's just like, I mean, it's such a project. And
it is, but it keeps you busy and distracted. Yeah. But you're done with it when you're done with it. And that's you know what I mean? You're fed up with your shit when you're fed up with your shit.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. Yeah.
Last time we spoke, you just said, well, that's why you direct beings to just breath and
back to themselves. Yeah.
Back to that. So it's definitely stayed with me, because a lot of times I can hear it, you know, like, got to work at this. And I'm like, stop, just breathe, just stop. And so, you know, it's a circuit breaker. It's like, you're right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing to do.
Yeah. You're
So
right.
anyway.
It is like a circuit break. Yeah. It's a circus and circuit breaker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I know you like dance too. Dancing's another thing. Anything you enjoy doing, because you could say that the sense of separation beliefs, they want that, ugh, woe is me, that it feeds off of that stuff. You know what I mean? It feeds off of that. But you know what I mean? You and only you can stop that flow of energy, because you're the energy, you transform it. But you can only transform it from, let's use air quotes here, that higher seeing.
Yeah. And
mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, the dancing has shown up again after like a while of just kind of lying around being depressed. And then suddenly it's like, yeah, I'm putting on this like really steamy Latin music and just, and I'm surprised. I was like, oh, I thought I was like all kind of old and sore, and and I was like, no, that dancer's right there.
Yeah,
like,
babe. Yeah.
Because it's the purity of it. It's like, it's almost like there's no density in the body when I'm in that, there's no friction. It's just, and again, it's like, it's almost funny, like that.
But that shows you know what to do and how to do it. It's just, you know exactly what to do.
Yeah. And I didn't lose anything. I don't have to regain anything. It's always been right there. So So I was going to say, this is my progress report, but that would imply there's some progress, to be had, because it's like, it's not time bound at all.
No.
It's not linear.
That's why you end up right where you are. Yeah.
So it's cool.
Thanks, Molly. Thanks for sharing. Keep on dancing.
All right. Will do. Love you.
Love you too, Molly. Hey, Bruce, you're up. Batter up.
Hi, Anna.
Hey, friend. How are you?
Oh, I'm really good. It's nice to actually talk to you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Watching your videos for a long time. I woke up early this morning and then I couldn't go back to sleep, so I thought I want to think about what I should ask Anna if I get a chance.
All
and one thing
right.
that confuses me is, and I was thinking about this morning too, is the one that feels separate is itself the one that's not separate. It's just plain and being separate.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's a contradiction. It's a paradox. It's
right.
it's gonna be so confusing to the mind, but to the heart of intuition, it's like, oh, yeah, there has to be the contrast within form. I mean, oneness sets this up for itself as an invitation for itself.
Yeah, for me, sometimes it seems confusing because when I've done this for a while, but when I really look for that separate one, I can't really find it. It seems to disappear, and then so it's something that disappears when I look for it, and yet it's it still comes back when I'm not looking for it, and yet to hear that it's also this wholeness that I'm looking for. Even though it seems contradictory, also somehow makes a wonderful sense too, and it's always nice to hear that that there's actually nothing wrong.
No, and there's no particular way to be. I mean, even what you would call your own old narrative, old dialogue, old neuroses can all appear. We're talking about infinity and freedom. Anything can happen, anything can appear. It's just when those old habits or traits appear, it's not a big deal anymore. And there isn't self-consciousness to go, you should really be ashamed. You should really be guilty right now. So it can move through and arise, but it's just, and boom, we're back and we're here. And there's, because our nature is just all embracing and accepting and loving. So it doesn't have like those judgmental kind of insecure, mean, let's put myself down kind of thing. Obviously, it does appear as that as an experience, as a dream. But from the absolute perspective, it's very neutral. That's why it can be all intense and then zoom, I'm just there. But there isn't that like hook of let's keep talking about it. Let's feel bad about it. You know, let's fluff the pillow for me to go back to sleep into that story on. It's just, we're here and it's over.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Yeah. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty cool that there's no particular way to be, that even, you know, the human stuff can appear, being cranky or a judgment or anything. And it's just,
Right.
It's okay. It's all accepting and all encompassing, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I find very refreshing and helpful about your videos, because that's seems like that's like your main message, and it doesn't even have to be that long. So it's a nice short kind of breath of fresh air that makes me sometimes go, oh yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, right. Because you could say it's like the body. I mean, the body can display beliefs without even a thought. You know what I mean? That's why like panic attacks can happen, or the body can just move in certain ways without even a thought going on or imagination. So yeah, so it can seem like the body kind of it takes a minute. I mean, if we're using the terms of the relative, it's a little denser, obviously, than just awareness. You know what I mean? That's why the body can be doing some weird stuff, and you're just there like, hey, what's going on here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, we just have to recognize this is being in the world and yet not of it. So there's still going to be human stuff. There's going to be pains and itches and you know, the stuff that comes along with having a body and a name tag. You know what I mean? Pain and pleasure, they go hand in hand. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. Appreciate it. Hey, Helen. What's up, girl? Oh, hold on. Let me unmute you, girlfriend. You're muted. I can't hear you. Hold on.
Okay. Hi. I just hope you can help me, and I hope I'm going to make sense. I can see beliefs, and I've worked with that, and you know, to dispel the beliefs, and I feel that I watch. You know, I'm the watcher, the observer, and I understand all that from a certain point. Where I seem to fall down is how much agency just pure awareness has. So I know that any decisions come maybe from a sense of lack or a sense of ego, or a sense of grasping, a sense of desires or anything like that. I can see that. But I don't know how much mind plays a part in when I'm looking at that sense of agency. How much, like I say, I hope I'm making sense.
No, you get you. Awareness has full agency.
Really?
Of course. Who else would?
I thought it was just like this neutral observer.
What? No, I get what you're saying. There's a corridor that can appear for the witness, where the mind observes the mind, kind of a thing, where you feel detached, a little detached and dissociated, kind of pulled back. No, this is like a full, you're one with body. That's why they call it direct experience. But there's no longer two that pops up in consciousness. So self-consciousness is this ability to have a fork in the road. There's mind, and then there's the absolute or awareness, right? No, I mean, there isn't even a thought of like mind or ego anymore. You're so one with what is. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just that. It's just that. So those separative words like ego and mind and me, they're just not, they don't even arise anymore, nor do you even care, because you're so whole, you're so there, you're so aware and alive.
Yes. I've experienced that, and I sort of know that, I can intuit that.
Yeah.
But then I must go back into mind then and say, well,
it's okay.
Where are the decisions coming from? Where did that decision come from? Now, maybe I'm trying to analyze whether it's ego or...
It's okay.
But I've told myself that that doesn't come from awareness.
Well, let's just say this. There is only awareness. There is only presence. There is only the one. But yes, sometimes it fractalizes off, because if this is a light show, the light can bend and contort into many things. It's an optical illusion, hologram. So it can play in that idea of like, oh my God, biting its nails. Did I do the right thing? Did I say the right thing? That insecure one, that's what we talk about. That one doesn't have choice. That's a lack. that lack doesn't have choice. It's an automaton belief handed down from the illusory world that is built on insecurity, unworthiness, and living through, well, just the word lack. Now, you as awareness, formless awareness, is the only agency. That's where there's only real choice and sovereignty, is when you're there. And it's very natural. There isn't this like freaking out. Like, it's a seamlessness with what is. I like to use an example of like a cat. Like, the cat doesn't have self-consciousness. When it's time to eat, it eats. When it's time to crap, it's time to crap. When it's time to sleep, it sleeps. It just intuitively moves through impulses, inspiration, or even pains. Obviously, the cat's tail is closing the door, moves, freaks out, like, obviously, but it's so one with its experience. It doesn't have the thought, did I choose that? Did I? Who manifested my tail getting stuck in the door? Was that my karma? Like, it doesn't have any of those types of abilities, which is self-consciousness. Humans have the illusory experience of having self-consciousness, which is just this bundle of lack, insecurity, multiplicity. So all I can say is it comes down to like this just immediacy where those types of ideas don't pop up, or if they do, they're silenced very quickly, or they don't stay as long because you're there as the seer.
I think what I must be doing is flicking back into mind and then analysing it. That must be what's happening.
And those things just happen. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a withdrawal. For some, it can seem like it's a withdrawal, like I'm coming in and out of conditions. Yeah. I mean, well, let's think about it. Within the relative, within the appearance of time, I'm not saying you, we're just making up a story here. You were told you were unworthy from the age of 1. And let's say you're 62 now. You know what I mean? It could seem, relatively speaking, like, okay, it's taken a minute for that to kind of fall away. You know, it kind of comes up, but doesn't stick. Like, it may seem like that. For others, it may not. But that's why, but there is no ability to compare either, in a way. It's just what's happening. And it's neither good or bad. It's oneness manifesting as a condition until it doesn't anymore.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Ellen.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Gregory.
Hey.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, good. I just want to thank you for a start. Just for like cutting to the chase, because there's a lot of like long-winded ways of talking about what you're talking about, and I just, yeah, it's very refreshing.
Well, thanks, man.
So,
I appreciate that. I really do. Thanks for the feedback.
That's all right. And yeah, like Bruce was saying, it is just it's so lucid. It's beyond even that. It's just when I see clearly, and not just like when I see, because I
get you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Everything just flows, and it's like I'm not even there, and it's beautiful. And often I find when I'm creating something, it just flows really beautifully. But there's a tendency for like our ego to kind of just come in through the back door and claim it, like I'm making this, and like it kind of just poisons it. It makes it a bit ugly. And I was just wondering what you think about that, because it is such a clear scene.
Well, there's nothing wrong with an ego. We can use that word. It can mean many things, what we're talking about. But there's nothing wrong either with taking pride in your work or your craft or your art. I mean, it's not coming from an arrogant sense, though. It's like a humble confidence, I can say, because you're still going to be a human. You're still going to be a character that has a job or kids, or, you know, as a painter or a musician or something like that. And there can be absolute like honor and pride in what you're doing. But again, it's just like this humble confidence of like, oh, wow, very cool. But the humility obviously is it's infinity flowing through the finite manifestation of itself. So, you know, we can get into this idea of, you know, get out of the way, the infinite's moving through, and don't take credit for anything. And then we can kind of feel a little separate there and a little detached and kind of like, well, what am I, just a butt puppet or something? So I got to say, it kind of comes into just this natural, beautiful organicness where you can still be confident and happy about your work and go, yeah, I did that and all of this type of stuff, because we're still going to use words and language and all of that. It's just, like I said, it's like a humble confidence. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing wrong with having what we're calling the ownership or confidence of your work. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, that's what a natural organic human is. And that's exactly what we're talking about, is being an authentic human, a natural human, not inauthentic. So obviously it's quite organic and natural to have confidence for something that you're creating. I mean, because relatively speaking, those things will still appear. But if we have beliefs or ideas of non-duality of don't take any credit, you know, come on, that's your ego if you got confidence. You know, it's like, come on now we're setting up a whole new prison cell for ourselves.
That, yeah, thanks. I think that's it. It's like I know there's nothing wrong with creativity. Like, it's, you know, nature just is creative and we're nature. So it's like, I think it's just a very subtle like confusion that arises, like when I do sort of think like, oh, this would sound really good, let me do it. There's sort of like but you know, what if you know what
doubt,
I mean?
you mean? Oh, you're talking about the voice of doubt.
Yeah, doubt, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
flick that booger out of there. Flick that booger out of there. That thing's not real anyways. That's what falls away. I know exactly what you're talking about. The self-sabotaging, the voice of the Christians would call Satan, the devil. Yeah, you're that too, though. So it's only you that's going to silence Satan. It's only you that's going to silence the darkness or the saboteur, because it's you. So it's you that rises above that, you know? I mean, really, it's you that silences the voice. And I can't think of what artist that said this. I'm probably totally wrong. Maybe Da Vinci. But he says, you know, when the voice comes in and tells you don't paint, do it anyways, and that voice will be silenced. You see? Because there's always going to be an antithesis that arises. And it's only you that's going to tell it to screw off. But it's from this beautiful space of awareness, of knowing what you are and your natural worth. You see, because that voice you're hearing is the voice of the world, the illusory world. You see? And it's you as awareness that can only see that and go, no, sir, that's not real. That's not my reality. And that's why you can look at what we call the apparent world, and we see the mopers and the haters and the depressed ones. I mean, Jesus, more beings in America are on Prozac than they are drinking coffee or taking vitamins. So we start to recognize that, you know what I mean? It's a collective, so to speak, voice. And it's not real. And it is only you who can silence it. And you silence it by the will of action, because that is love. Love is action. It's the will. Okay? That's what it does. I mean, why else do we appear as bodies? Creativity. So you can fractalize off, so to speak, and create so much art and music and pieces of jewelry, but you will always remain intact as the whole absolute being that you are. So have fun with it, man.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Gregory. Hey, Xavier.
Yes. As you know, we've been very much battered around with the accident, and our storyline has been very intensified financially and stuff. And my question is actually around law of attraction versus self-fulfilling prophecy. Because somehow when I am in that space of formless awareness, I can see through it. But when I'm not, I'm directly connecting to the law of attraction. I must have done something wrong in a previous life, or the momentum of whatever has been happening, like financially, and then suddenly the motorbike accident, and still recovering now. That made me think and slip back into that unworthiness and that feeling of law of attraction is being at play.
Well, obviously,
So,
there's still it's both. It's absolutely both. Everything's an invitation for your power. It really is. And you set up everything. It seems twisted, but who else sets it up if there's only you here? That's why each unique storybook, each character has unique invitations, whether it's a car accident, loss of money, a disease, whatever is appearing. It is your invitation to step back into power, because there's still going to be action, right? If it's financial messes, if it's finding a home, obviously you have the power to do that. Your infinity, of course, you're highly creative as well. So you can find the way, find the solution to that answer or question, sorry. You can find the answer to that question, you see? So it's law of attraction obviously still does play out. They're both, it's both. It's just all you fixing, let's say, your health or getting more money obviously isn't going to bring long-term confidence. Obviously, you'll just look for something else and then something else. Your only safety and sovereignty is awareness. And it's from there that you can see, okay, looks like money's dwindling. Let's get creative. Let's rock and roll. Let's fill out applications. Let's move. Because I mean, what else is going to happen? You create the energy. You create the circumstances. No one else is going to come save you. I mean, that's what one comes to find out is we can do all of these things, the trials and the errors, but we do it just like when we go to the gym. If we go to the gym, right? We lift weights to build mass and muscle. You're not lifting marshmallows or cotton candy. The same is for the circumstances of life. Life is shaping you into a unique character. You are going to evolve, brother. You will evolve, whether it's a snail pace or very quickly. But that's what this is. There is the appearance of evolution still. And so life is going, come on, baby, bring on the power, bring on that. Come on, come on. It's shaking you up, and it will get louder and louder and louder until you listen. It does.
Yeah, that was very
right?
loud. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, you know, there's still, even if you're just here, there's still going to be blows because it molds your character. Right? Just like waves crashing on the shore of the rocks, it's shaping the rocks over and over again through years to make this unique shape. That's what life is doing to itself here, because it's interesting to grow. It's interesting to seemingly evolve and move through challenges.
Yeah.
Just to watch yourself rise, you know?
It's creating scars as well.
Oh, well, yeah, the body will have scars, but what's wrong with that when you know what you are beyond time? Obviously, you still have a deep connection to time bound. Again, your only safety, confidence, and true confidence is only in formless awareness. It's not in having more money. It's not. I mean, you can have all the fame and all the fortune and still feel lonely as hell. I've met a lot of those. I've also, heard of billionaires who committed suicide because they just can't get enough. So we're moving from a consumeristic mindset of I need to fix all of these things outside of me to a reconfiguration of what this really is. This is a hologram. It is not real. So you can fix all of these things, get a new pad, new car, new money. But if you don't recognize your timeless nature, you will be a beggar. And you can only find it now, brother. Okay. The sages, the great ones, they were only interested in perfection right now. Not when more money comes. That's the mind's gambit. Okay. So when you reconfigure, reorientate to your true stance, your true home, your true throne, then and only then do you have the creative capabilities, the energy, the inspiration to shift this. Otherwise, it's going to be a snail's evolution, and it's going to be matter trying to change matter, mind trying to change mind. Okay. Yeah.
All right. And
so,
when you talked about self-fulfilling prophecy like a long time ago.
Yeah, those can still arise. Yeah.
But where does that fit in because I said it VS versus the law of attraction. And
there is no versus self. There is only the self fulfilling prophecy. It's fulfilling the prophecy to recognize the self, and it will turn up the heat and create shitty circumstances for you to come home to yourself.
Yeah.
You're designing this. It's you designing this, but it's not on the level you think of. not the one who feels insecure and lack-based. That one's not creating shit. It's totality, for you to come home to yourself, so to speak, for the lack-based to dissolve, for the insecure beliefs to dissolve. Right? But it will literally shove itself into a depressive box and feel unworthy and insecure just to pop out of it. Oneness is weird. I'm not going to say it's not. It's totally weird. But it's for you to come into sovereignty, which you already are there. It's the mind wandering, going, where is it? It's when I fix that. It's when I get more money. It's when I heal that. Not recognizing that those are all distractions. It's coming back to here, and only here is your true confidence. And then through confidence, you have the will. You have the inspiration to move. There's no doubt anymore. So you get the applications. You create the course. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go for it. Because it's you. Who else is going to do it?
Great, yeah. And does that translate into personal and impersonal? Like, personal?
Well, you're coming from the idea that there's two. There isn't.
Yeah.
Who's the person and who's the impersonal? That's my question.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So it's really our natural, I don't want to say state, because it's not a state. It really doesn't need thought. It's amazing. We don't see how much the mind is a huge burden until it's gone, but we really don't need thought to be or exist. Thought comes in and then we got doubt. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Our natural nature, it's like they're speaking, but thought isn't needed. It's a response moving. Okay. Inspiration. Yeah, there can be like, okay, that's what we're going to create now, and then it's over. So it's like a tool. But if you notice, thought creeps in, time creeps in, and now we've got doubt and insecurity. Otherwise, there's just this. But there really wasn't a yesterday, and there really isn't a tomorrow, and there really isn't 5 minutes from now. That all appears as a dialogue and commentary in this eternal beingness. So in essence, you are writing your story, but not from the space that the questions are coming from. You can only really pick up that pen and paintbrush with true creativity as awareness. Otherwise, we're just repeating the past, which are hand-me-downs.
I noticed that when thought comes in, then there is a decision maker, and then it's trying to make scenarios and stuff, and then sometimes life is just happening, and then there's spontaneity, and then there is this raw pureness that arises, and that
there can still be moments of like, wait a sec, I need a day, or let me think about that, or I don't really know right now. Those things can appear, but there isn't the judgmental kind of heaviness, like anxiety with it. There's just like, okay, I'll get back on it. Let me sit with it. I'm not really sure. It's not super clear yet. That arises here. There just isn't the anxiety with it, or the rush type of thing. It's just, okay. It's just very, very natural. It's just very organic. I'm not saying there aren't challenges and all of that. Of course there is, but you're able to move through them. You have the solution. Yeah. It just doesn't come from the same place as, where the problem was generated, you could say. That's why, when we're doing something we enjoy doing, or we go for a hike or a walk, that idea comes through and we're like, oh my God, that's it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not sitting there festering and contemplating, going, banging our head against the wall. It just, boop, there's a solution. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. Like swimming with a turtle. That's where it happens.
Like swimming with a turtle, is that what you said?
Yeah, that's where the inspiration is.
That's so cute. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. No problem at all, guys. Thanks for asking the question. I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, I'm going to answer some questions in the chat. Or I'll go for one in the chat and I'll come back. Hey, Anna, so are there steps to this with identifying with the seer or losing identity altogether? Was this a gradual process for you, or did this sort of just fall into your lap? For me, I meditate and notice my mind's thoughts and notice I'm the stage for which this is all possible, not the objects and emotions. You could say, I mean, it looks like a process, right? But when you're resting in this space of awareness, you see that time really is not linear like we think it is. So there can be memories of the past and the struggling and meditating and doing all of that, which this did. But I got to say, as a child, there was just weird shit that went down, lots of supernatural stuff, objects moving, doors opening and closing. And I was really interested in the supernatural. So there was a leaning as a kid, but I was also raised Catholic, and I was raised also by very dense parents in the sense of anxiety and depression and OCD. So even though there was glimpses and intuitive recognitions of this, I still did the whole spiritual seeking and, you know, books and different gurus and teachers and all of that stuff, which only reconfigured and reorientated me to myself, the true guru, you know, because there is only the self, and the self manifests as all these things to point you back to, well, you. So you could say it just fell into the lap, just like it did there. It's all spontaneous, you know. But meditation can still arise, and any kind of practice can still go on. It's a joy to do it. It's not because I have to. Like it's really yummy and delicious to meditate or do Tai Chi or yoga. I'm not doing it because the teacher told me I had to, you know? Yeah. But I get it. As long as there's the incessant mind of lack and doubt and insecurity, those practices are highly holistic and they make sense. But eventually you're just meditating. Like you're just meditating. There is only meditation, if that makes sense. Is it Alonzo? Am I saying it right? I'm not saying it right. That's not right. Is it right?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah. What's up?
How are you, my friend? Thank you so very much.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
You know, I have thought too many things about you, and I'm extremely grateful for all the pieces of information that you have given us to us.
Oh my God. No problem.
And well, thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. And first of all, English is not my native language, so I am very sorry if I commit some mistakes while talking or something like that. But I'm going to try my best. So thank you.
Yeah,
you know,
go for it, man.
Okay, I am a psychedelic user. I absolutely adore the magicness of the nature. You know, I use them in order to ground myself into the organic and the natural being that we are. And I always love this oneness, this non-duality, this unitness that I experience in those states of higher consciousness. So my question is this: how can oneself can stay in those states, in those higher states that the psychedelics give us in our daily basis without getting lost in thoughts, into the ego, into bad emotions? Because, for example, when I have like a psychedelic session or something like that, as I told you before, I experienced like a divine and sacred, beautiful state of the being that I would always perceive in my day, you know, in my day, in like my daily basis. But then with weeks or with months, I started to feel different bad emotions, probably self-negative talks or fantasies of the ego, fantasies of the mind, which aren't true. So yeah, as I told you before, my question is, if that is possible, how can oneself can reach and state in that state of the being without getting lost in, you know, in the mind and stuff like that, if it's possible? That's basically my question. Thank you so very much.
Yeah. Great question. So psychedelics can be useful for a bit, but eventually they're going to be a crutch. Eventually they're going to get in the way. Eventually your vibration, let's say, is going to be way higher than that. Okay. Eventually it'll become an obstacle, and it's not going to feel right anymore, because those are just tools for a glimpse. Your natural nature is not a psychedelic experience. So I always tell beings, if you want a drug experience, do drugs. What we're talking about, it's not like LSD, it's not like shrooms, it's not like DMT. It's really just very simple, very immediate, almost like a trance. Like that's the only word I can say, because you're just so here. It's not all of this like gooey visions and stuff like that. Now, obviously, bliss and ecstasy can arise in it. Now, you're not going to withstand that permanently. Your nervous system would get fried. The brain cannot handle that much ecstasy or bliss at one time. It just doesn't. So you're going to have ebbs and flows through consciousness. You're going to ride the waves of consciousness, but because you are beyond consciousness as the formless seer, it's not a big deal anymore. So there can be the human drops in density of sadness or illness or frustrations. It just doesn't stay and linger and have a narrative of when we feel separate and we don't know our timeless aspect or nature. So I got to say, those will be a hurdle eventually. The psychedelics will get in the way because what you are is much simpler than all of that. And it doesn't really even need those things, because those are an experience, and what you really are isn't a personal experience or mental experience. It's the lack thereof, really. But we're so used to operating and talking about an experience that the mind tries to fantasize this as an experience. But it's really not. It's what's left when the one doesn't need an experience anymore. And I know that sounds weird, but it's just this. It's just this immediacy. And I can say from reports of plant medicine, it can mess with your nervous system after a while too. And the nervous system is really connected to everything. And that's why I say the body is the final frontier on Storybook Earth, because when this relaxes, when this is accepted, when this is really adored for what it is, it's like an opening. And then, oh, there's the seer. Oh, it was always there, but this can hold so many beliefs. And if we add in substances or drugs and stuff like that, it can really start to mess with this and that, it's everything. But, you're your guinea pig. You're going to see that through trial and error, that substances and things that I'm altering and messing with can mess with that clarity, so to speak. That's why you're the guru. But again, we show ourselves that through trial and error. But yeah, this is not a drug experience. It's so simple and earthy and just this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I understand. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Thanks to you.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Erickson. What's up? You'll have to unmute yourself, my friend. For some reason, it doesn't let me unmute you. Yeah. It only lets me ask you to unmute. I know, how interesting.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? So I have I don't know if it's coming from the ego, from the mind, but I see for the evolution of my soul to being of service to others, like you doing. And I'm asking the universe for acceleration, and it's probably the mind, the ego, but it's like I don't know, I have it in me, so I know the mind works in a system of mood, emotions, duality. Mind is duality, mood. Mm-hmm. So I'm choosing to transcend that, and I'm choosing presence, like Eckhart Tolle, presence. Mm-hmm. So I love dancing. I love breath work. My goal is to become a Breatharian, like a full-time Breatharian. So I had the inspiration today to just dance in presence and not in mood, mood, because mood is, you have the up and down, the mood, the joy, and then, so what I was gonna say. Yeah, I've been meditating. I've been doing the breath work, breatharian. I changed my diet. So I still have guilt when I eat. I quit meat.
Now, Erickson, what we're talking about has nothing to do with changing your diet. I mean, what we're speaking about, it's beyond a certain diet. I mean, it's already looking through your eyes. So you don't need to change anything. The belief feels insecure and it thinks it needs to change and do something to be worthy of this, no, it's right where you are. Like it does, if you meditate more, do more breath work, if you change your diet, it doesn't matter. You're not going to get closer to this by rearranging this mirage. This isn't real. I need to really be very real that this is not real like the mind thinks it is. This is a dream. And all we're talking about is just becoming lucid within it. You're not going to become lucid tomorrow or in 5 minutes because those don't exist. It's here now. It's what's looking through your eyes. That's what we're talking about. So you don't need to change your diet unless it's naturally inspired, but it's not going to bring you closer to this. Obviously, it can make you feel a certain way, but there is only presence or there is only beingness. You see what I'm saying here? So in transcending is still another game that the belief system wants to play with. Let me jump over a hurdle that doesn't exist. The mind is oneness. What I'm really saying is there is only the self, there is only beingness, there is only oneness. There isn't no need for transcendence. If you want to play that game, oh my God, there's many who will play that game with you, but there's actually nothing to transcend. You're just hopping over yourself. That's all that's here. So we're talking about something that's very simple. It's not about getting it, becoming it. It's resting as it, being it.
Right.
Yeah.
Just being the awareness.
Well, the mind can't do that. The mind drops and then you recognize what you are. Timeless awareness, the seer. But I get it. The mind will come up and go, but what about this? What about service? What about meditation? What about breath work? Well, there is no world, just so you know. Your world is a projection of your subconscious, your beliefs. There really is no world. When I say this is it, I literally mean this is it. There's nothing outside of here. A thought may come in and go, oh my God, Anna, there's Australia. That's just a thought. So this goes against the grain really of everything we think we know and are taught, which is time, space, reality, space-time reality. There isn't. It's literally Leela. It is a light show. It is not real, but obviously it's natural for service, or what you're calling service, because there is only the self. So it's natural to love and support and have compassion and care once you recognize that everybody that's appearing is actually you. But that's not a thought. It's what's directly recognized in awareness. And it doesn't mean either too that you're in like love, like rapture, ecstasy, love with every character, because within this dream, there's going to still be contrast of light and dark, negative characters and positive characters, because that's just part of the yin yang. It's part of the light show. There has to be contrast. Yeah.
The positive polarity and the negative, right? The negative, positive.
But you're both. Yeah, you're both though. So it's like even the assholes are you, and they're appearing on this stage of life because it's just what oneness wants to play as. I mean, who are the good ones without the assholes, right? Who are the saints without the sinners? So those are still going to appear. It's just you recognize what it is. That's what I mean by you're now lucid in the dream. You see it as a dream. The story still goes on. You can still play in stories and beliefs, but you see it for what it is. Play.
Yeah, because I think it's the mind, because I'm drawn more to the positive polarity,
Sure. Well, I mean, it's natural to lean towards love, just like a plant leans towards the sun. Yeah. Sure. Why not? Right. But I mean, even like a plant, there's dirt and compost, and it sits in a seed and darkness for a little bit. I mean, it's just all part of form. So within form, there's always going to be that interplay, of shadow and light, so to speak. But you are the shadow and you are the light. You're everything.
So I guess become more like neutral.
You already are neutral. You already are neutral. It's more like a reconfiguration or reorientation of what's already here. So if we're upstairs in the mind, we're just hopping on thoughts and going, okay, be more neutral, become more neutral. You can't become more neutral when you already are that. So that's what drops is beliefs. What starts to fall away is thoughts and beliefs. And then you're just there. Awareness naturally is neutral.
Wow.
Or presence. It naturally is that. So that's why you can't become it. The mind's really interested in becoming because it lives in lack. It really believes it was born and will die and it's inadequate. you as formless awareness is not inadequate. It's highly confident and worthy and neutral, and it's here now.
Wow.
I understand, though, it can seem like it's mixed up with a thought form, but you are powerful enough to untangle that, because you created the tangle as an invitation just for the untangle.
Wow. That's really, really deep. I have to like just give it time to like realize it.
Oh yeah, there's a seed there. It'll sprout. Yeah, no worries. It'll do its thing. You can just sit with it. It's all good.
Yeah. I
Cool,
mean, surrender. I'm surrender, not like the seek, the mind always in the future. Like I'm very like always seeking in the future, like to become higher state of consciousness. Always, so I'm focusing more on the now, living in the now, in the present moment.
Well, you can also call in energies. I mean, you're infinity. You can do these shifts and changes. It's just it's from a space of inspiration and abundance. It's not from a space of I'm lacking in inadequate and I need to get to this higher consciousness to be better. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you're alpha and omega. You're going to play through the silver screen of frequencies, but you're also beyond it. You know what I mean? And it's really the freedom is the recognition beyond the silver screen. Because then you can play in the silver screen. You can, be in the story and all this kind of stuff. And it's okay because you've recognized that you're already dead and simultaneously alive. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to like sit down, realize
it's cool. It's cool, man. Yeah. Just
yeah. But the mind is trying to like figure it out what you're saying, but like
it can't. It's okay. You already know. You got it. You already know that will just kind of it'll just get kind of quiet and tired, and then you'll just be there. Yeah.
Organically, naturally, not forcing it, like.
Right. Yeah, just totally natural. You're just there. It's like you without the you, I like to say. Like you're more you than you've ever been before, but without the lack and insecurity. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Neato.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. All right. Hey, Mauricio and wife. What's up, guys? Hi.
Go ahead. Pleased to meet you.
Oh my God, so nice to meet you too.
I particularly enjoy your videos with the chicken.
It's been a while, but yes, they are fun, aren't they? Yes, they're adorable. They really are.
I really find it amusing how our animals are attracted to the energy that we emit during these sessions.
No, it's so cute.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. It's like Snow White, they all just kind of flock to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, baby. I interrupted you. What were you going to say?
No, what I was going to tell, Jaime has been raising his hand for a while, so just FYI.
Oh, what's the name?
Jaime Guevara.
Oh, let me find. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Thanks, Mauricio.
You're welcome. I'll ask you a question afterwards.
Okay, I'll come back to you next. Okay, Mauricio. Look at that. Being so kind.
Hey, I know what? I didn't even know what place I was in. To be honest, but hey, it's nice to meet you.
You too. Do you have your camera on? I'm trying to find you. For some reason, you're not spotlighted, but I can hear you. So.
Yeah, one sec. Let's see here.
You don't have to turn it on. I'm just curious if it was. What is that? Okay. Ooh.
Here I am.
Oh, there you are. Hey, blue hat. Okay, what's up?
Hey, how's it going? So, so I get the impression I feel like I'm on the cusp, like something just needs to be inverted in myself, and just like you said, reorientation. And I get the impression that there's some kind of work to do, like beliefs to be shed off. Like I said in the chat, there's like a process to it, and you said that you can see why it looks that way. It's just like I just need to sit with it and just I don't know.
Okay. The effortlessness is an awareness. Okay. Because it can naturally see beliefs and it sees its falsity. It sees the illusion of it. Obviously, you're not unworthy. Obviously, you're not depressed. Obviously, that's not your true identity. So obviously in awareness, yeah, it can see those things because it trumps all those lower vibrations. It is the alpha. That's why the omega can, let's say, ascend up with it because it is it. You're the whole rainbow. You're the whole hue. You know what I mean? But it is an optical illusion in the sense of not really being solid in there. Okay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you could say there's a little disciplining at first. It may seem that way, but it'll just become natural. And then, yeah, if there's something within the personality or the character that oneness wants to shift or change, it gladly does that through inspiration and abundance. Through, oh my God, why not? Not, oh God, I'm such a loser. If only I could do this and that, then, you know what I mean? But naturally, you're infinity. Of course, we can shift beliefs and do that, but only as awareness. Beliefs don't change beliefs, you know? Yeah.
So that kind of like brings up a question for me, and it comes back to like the whole breath work meditation. And, you know, they like through gurus and through, you know, reading like books I've read, they say like the purpose of those kind of practices to like release emotional blockages or some kind of subconscious beliefs that you've once had. Like there's like the practice through that. Is that the case in your experience?
Well, I mean, it's like therapy, and it makes logical sense to do that, but eventually you're just meditating. You know what I mean? And those disturbing emotions don't appear anymore because we're not living through a narrative of time and mind. You know what I mean? Right. Most of the time they're regurgitated. Oh my God, 5 years ago. Oh my God, yesterday. Oh my God, my mom. And we're just like repeating and repeating. But when you're there as awareness, everything's like fresh and new and alive, and time is not linear anymore. So that narrative is like not even interesting. You're just like, oh, wow, what a great story. Right. Not interesting. You know what I mean? Like, because you can see what it is. It's a story. Because you have a natural confidence as formless awareness, confidence to see through that or shift it if you want to or not. I mean, that's the beauty of this. You know, it's not like some passive state where we're just like zombified. You know, each character is going to be highly unique. Maybe a wallflower, maybe a go-getter.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. So you, like you said, there's like a flavor to each right. So like, even though like once everyone becomes a seer, it's not like everyone's like, you know, the same. Like everyone is still like has their, would you call it identity? Would you call it like, I guess flavor is a good word to put it, right?
Yeah, but I got to say already you are the seer. So you don't become the seer.
Yeah.
So the one who wants to become goes bye-bye or takes its rightful place in the back seat or as a tool, and you're just there as the seer. We don't become it, but you could say the seer isness is appearing as this light show, this hologram, and it will play in it, and it will seem to evolve and move and explore because it's just interesting. There will never be another Jamie. Is it Jamie or Jane?
It's Jaime. It's Jaime, actually.
I'm not even saying it right. There's only going to be whatever. There's only going to be one you. Like, and that's what's seen. It's like, oh my God, this is totally fleeting. This is unique, and it's not lasting. So, yeah, your oneness is song, and it wants to be you. That's why you're appearing.
Got it. And then another question is like, how would it seems like when you identify with the seer? I mean, everyone's a seer, right?
Well, you don't identify it. Your mind's trying to create a new identity. What we're talking about, you can't know yourself. You can only know what you're not. So when you're resting as formless awareness, there isn't this idea of like, am I identifying with the awareness or with the person? Like you're directly there like a cat. There isn't those thoughts that pop up. You're just there. It's where else is it going to be? If it's not here, where else is it going to be?
I don't know, but I mean, when you're in your thoughts and like you have these beliefs that there's the separateness, right? They're
not real though. I have to be. They're not real, and you're not in them. You just think you are. That's why I'm inviting you out of thought. But it'll either happen or it won't. I understand. We're so conditioned to go upstairs. What we really are doesn't need thought. Beingness actually does not need thoughts or beliefs to exist. Thoughts and beliefs need you like leeches. Oh, holy shit. It's a reorientation and reconfiguration. You don't need thought. You don't need beliefs. They need you. They get their juice from you. It's just what we're talking about, so natural and intimate, and it's neutral in the sense it's just overlooked all the time because we're usually lost in fantasy about this.
Understood. Yeah, that's yeah, they need us, right? Thoughts, beliefs. And then as far as long-term goals work, from resting in that place of awareness, like do you have long-term goals? Do you have, like, when you can see so far in the future, like, oh, you know, I want to accomplish this, or is it more just spontaneous and like you're in the process of doing something just because it brings joy to you? And I guess my question,
yeah, there's goals and desires, you know, like right now I'm trying to get a new vehicle, so that's setting up, but it comes from natural circumstances that are appearing, you know what I mean? It's inspired from what is, from what's arising here. So yeah, goals and desires totally appear, but you could say they're pure. They're not in this idea of I'm lacking or based in like not feeling secure. Most of the things we want them because how they're going to make us feel. We think they're going to bring security. The only security is in awareness. The only security is recognizing your timeless nature. Then we can try, play with all of this. Ooh, the car, the money, the job, the hair, the lover, whatever, because you see it's all fleeting. It's not ever going to bring you lasting joy, but it's beautiful, obviously. Like form's gorgeous. It's amazing, but it's never going to give you your true identity. Yeah. So yeah, goal setting, all of that stuff arises. It's beautiful. It's just when you haven't recognized your timeless nature, it's a sticky web, and it turns into an addiction. Yeah.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
I can see that.
That's it. Yeah.
One last question. You mentioned how this is like a light show, and that's it. Just feels like that's such. I mean, could you go more into that? Like, if I say there's like, is Australia really there, or is it? I mean, is it just like in my mind? Like
yeah. It's an appearance. I mean, and that doesn't make any sense, because we're so used to projecting consciousness out. But it's really this. It's just this, the immediacy of this. And when you walk outside of your room, then that room appears. Otherwise, it's not there. But that's not believable, obviously.
Right.
The mind
it's hard
operates
to believe that, right?
Oh, yeah, you can't. It's not a belief. I mean, this is just what's seen and recognized and intuited when the mind's not there, when logic isn't trying to formulate all of this. Because when there's really a world and there's really real people, and there's really all this suffering, and there's really something I need to go save, and I need to be a martyr now, and I need to do this. Again, black hole, you suck it all back up, kind of like Jumanji. If you've ever seen that game or that movie, Jumanji, where everything sucks into the game, like you suck it all back up because it's being projected by the subconscious. There's no one in the subconscious. You were told there was a world. You were told there was assholes. You were told there was this. You were told there was all of these things, depending on how you were raised too. Some of it was really dense, some of it probably more joyous, right? Yeah. But either way, we get told these stories and we project them outward. This, like, right. Literally, it sucks all back into you, and then it's recognized, wow. When I arise as a sense of separation, then this whole world of brokenness and hell and needing to be saved appears. Why? Because I have a belief that I need to be saved. And if I need to be saved, then the world needs to be saved. And here we go, rodeo. There's nothing wrong with that. That's oneness. But once you recognize you are the savior to yourself, you're going to save yourself. Then and only then can your own light, which is everyone's light, be reflected. And it's just that openness. You can see yourself, what you really are, not this bundle of thoughts and beliefs or inadequacy. Like you can really see yourself through the manifested forms and characters.
Got it. All right, I'm gonna sit with that. Thank you very
Cool,
much,
man.
Anna.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, back to Mauricio. Take two.
Boy, you have been. Thank you. It's interesting. You have a lot more people participating today than last Sangha. So that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
hey,
wonderful.
free events, man. Right? Free's awesome. Yeah.
The I had always wondered why the quote unquote ecstasy didn't stay. And you explain it so beautifully because the system will not be able to hold it for long. I mean, how long could you live in bliss? I mean,
yeah.
So you have to come down to the human level of just functioning. So that was
no, totally.
That was a great explanation. Thank you very much for bringing that back into thing. The other question I had was, but you being honored, you being answering so many wonderful things, it's putting it such a wonderful perspective to it. Yeah. I know it's all a play anyway, but I think you did state it, a state of preference. You can sort of not the mind, obviously, but a preference can be stated or moved towards on daily life. Mm-hmm. I guess it will go along with goals or dreams, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. How would you express that?
Oh, well, even opinions, it's all oneness. Opinions, preferences, leanings. Yeah, it's all oneness, and it's part of this. So that's why comparison falls away too. Like, you know what I mean? It's totally the thief of joy, but it's just like, you're your own code, you're your own guru, and it's only you know what's right for you. Only you know what's best for you. You know what I mean? And that's why it takes radical, like, authenticity, and courage naturally comes with awareness. They go hand in hand. So you naturally have the courage to follow your heart, to follow you, the real you, not the pseudo you that society's trying to mold you into, you know? But again, oneness sets us up. We get molded into this little statue thing just so we can break out of it, because it's really cool for oneness to rise, to break out of these self-imposed limitations. Otherwise, we would just stay as ether. We would stay as the void or absolutely nothing. But obviously, we're here in bodies and as characters and different flavors because, well, it's the spice of life. Yeah. So it won't, So the story of Mauricio will go on, and the preferences and the personality and all of that, you know, and there's only going to be one Mauricio. There will never be another Mauricio, just like snowflakes. They're so unique. But when they hit the ground, oh my God, it's a blob of water. So it's like we start to recognize, wow, like this is a gift. It's fleeting. And let's just rock it. Like a natural courage comes with it. Yeah. And when I say rock it, guys, I mean you could knit and rock knitting. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. The other one, you put it so beautifully, maybe you can even expand further how this process is just the joy or the love that it's natural. All of a sudden is reflected upon everybody you encounter, and you the mere act of this form doing that kind of enlivens, you can say, or triggers that within the other bodies, so to speak.
Well, yeah, it could go either way. You could say, one, it could rise up the irritation. It depends on the character. Or if there's no, seriously. You're like, wow, why is everyone's eyebrows furrowing in my direction? I don't know. Or, you know what I mean? Or there's an openness because it's an energy. It's an energy. Oil doesn't hang out with water. You know, so if water comes in and oil, there's going to be like kind of a thing. But if there's an openness or a ripeness, it can kind of blend into it and move into it, and just, it's like an entrainment into the vibration, so to speak, like a tuning fork. You know what I mean? So it's not always going to be that way. Because I'll tell you this, Mauricio, I can be sitting in a private session, spitting poetry, beautiful things, like, oh my God, gorgeous. And literally they're just like fighting with air the whole time. I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? So that's like, there has to be an openness. You're ready to hear it when you're ready to hear it. But those who are ready, even if there's a crack, or leaning into it, it just gets in there, it permeates through the crack, and yeah, and then it's like they drop and they're just there, and it's just like, oh my God, you know. So there, it's a mixed bag sometimes, Mauricio. Yeah, but it can go either way. But that's, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. So good to meet you. What's your name, by the way? Please tell me.
Jane.
Jane, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Yeah. You guys take care.
Thank
Likewise.
you.
Thanks. Hey, Katie. What's up, girl?
Hey. I don't see anybody else's hand up. I didn't want to.
There might be
from anybody
but hey,
else.
I saw you, so you're up to bat. Yeah.
I just thank you. It's just such a blessing to have this space, and I've been having space with you for, I don't know, it's been a couple of years. And
isn't it crazy though? It seems like a blink of an eye.
you know, and it's not real, and I know it's not real, but it's real. You know, it's the paradox.
But isn't it wild though? It does seem like yesterday, or like 5 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just, you know, I can see or know or realize whatever, you know, words. It's been such an incredible space to be in, and I'm so grateful for it. And it's just, it's coming home. It's really coming home. And the things that have just dropped off, the stuff that's just dropped off, you know, it's just, I mean, it's just, you know, it's one that's just doing its beautiful thing. And I'm so grateful. And it's just, I'm so grateful you've offered this. And, you know, there are 38 people here right now. And it's just, hallelujah.
Yeah.
And I get to see you again on Sunday. So it's great. So.
Yeah. Oh, Katie, thank you. Please know that the gratitude is mutual. Seriously, it takes two to tango, and this is an absolute delight. It really is. So thank you so much. I love you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Huh. Naomi asks, can the realization of oneness override or alchemize mental illness? Absolutely, my love. Absolutely. It's not the mental illness that will recognize it, though. There's something that's already embracing mental illness. There's something that's already there. That's, we're going to use the word beyond because we're speaking in language, but that's already whole, confident, complete, healthy, well. And I understand the struggle of mental illness and the intensity of that. But my goodness, you can trump it. You can trump it. And not in a forceful way, in a very passive, effortless way, just as you resting as yourself. It may be uncomfortable at first, of course. The body may get nauseous and hot and vomit and shake and do all kinds of weird stuff because it's energy. But of course, and it's here now, and it starts now, and it can be noticed now. And maybe there's something now that already notices the patterns of the psychosis. And it'll deepen, it'll deepen, and it'll deepen. And the mental illness will fall into that hole. And it'll be sucked away. And what you are will remain. And mental illness may come back. Anything may come back. But you'll suck it back up again. Because you know what you are. But only you can show that to yourself. Only you can show that to yourself. And life gives us so many opportunities to do that because we're life. I'm going to disappear for 1 second. All right, guys, I'm going to go to the chat box. There's a lengthy one in there. Let's see if I can. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Oh, that's a lengthy one. Let's see. Awesome. Beautiful. All right. I think we're caught up. Hey, is it Lori? Is that right? Hey, how are you?
Hi, good evening. Thank you. I'm listening, and where I'm at is as thoughts arise, and thoughts to me are forms, and form in the way of beliefs and all kinds of things. And I kind of I've been turning away. I turn away, and if I have an emotional reaction, I kind of look at that and kind of be with that. But my refuge, I like how you said refuge. I'm finding that the only refuge is within here. And at this point, the only refuge that I can find is to turn away from, and when I say turn away, I don't mean like ignore, but to not involve and entangle myself in the beliefs. And I've tried all kinds of practices, but it seems to be the simplest way for me to do that. I'm not real proficient at it yet, but it gets more and more, there's more room for the alignment of who I am when I'm away from that. So as I'm, kind of not entangling in thought and having those emotions, have more spaciousness to be. But, and this is kind of hard for me to say, but I don't know why I feel so lonely. I feel lonely, and I don't feel connected even when I feel peace, and because I don't feel connected. I don't know.
Yeah. Are you alone at home? I mean, do you connect with other characters? Or are you like kind of like a hermitage kind of a thing going on?
I'm not, circumstances seem to have removed most of the things from my life. So I have so much time alone that it's really freaky. But so that could be it. But
well, I mean, most characters aren't recluse. I mean, you know what I mean? Most love community and gathering and connecting. Yeah, totally. But I mean, when you're there, I mean, there's a wholeness, there's a contentment, but naturally their character could lean and want to be with community. And if we suppress that and we think, oh, well, I should just be okay being a hermit or a recluse and be happy with that, then we're just diving into a new belief and a new concept, because your character may love interacting with other characters. Like that's its zest, you know what I mean? But if we have an idea that we shouldn't be doing that, or that's dualistic or separate, then we're living in another prison cell, because most characters are designed to want to be in community, being in some kind of tribe, or even if it's just a partner or a friendship, you know what I mean? That's the beauty of form. It's very rare to be reclusive. It's not very many characters have that and shine with it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But only you know that. Yeah.
That's not what I'm seeking. I'm not seeking that, and I can see that. I'm just wondering, I heard you say the inspiration comes naturally, the ideas come naturally, and I seem to not have a lot of those coming. But no, I'm not interested in the isolation at all. I've not lived that way.
Go take a Zumba class, go to yoga, take a hiking, go hiking, go take a photography course. Okay. Learn to square dance. You know what I mean? You're infinity. Of course you can create these opportunities for yourself. But I mean, really, but we get used to sticking in the same loop, the same hamster wheel. Oh, well, one day it'll change. You make the change. It's you. It's only you that's going to do it. You know what I mean? Whether that's joining a community or just going to the local coffee shop and striking up a conversation. Because when you're there, there's a natural confidence, a confidence to try those new things or go out and talk to folks. Because everywhere you go, there you are.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. And okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It really becomes that simple. It's like, oh, you know, because I mean, well, truly though, we are all alone. There is only one. One is the loneliest number. Hence why we create these myriads of expressions to play with ourselves. So you might as well have some fun, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, beautiful friends. We are at our time here. Goes by so fast, doesn't it? But it's been so lovely to sit with you guys and to see so many new faces. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you. And if you like these, there's always the Patreon community, or just please let me know if you'd like to see more. I'll get more in and work it around my kiddos. But thank you. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege. Y'all take care now, okay? And I'll see you when I do. Bye.
Bye, Anna.
Have a great night, everybody. This will go to YouTube within a few days, okay? All right.